All right, I'm picking back up on 198. Violet looked up at Myrtle and Chloe bumping over the field in the hope chest. Myrtle, who was shorter than Violet, seemed to be having considerable difficulty seeing over the hood while working both the hand and foot controls. And then at Mr. Martin reading baseball scores. They all had something hanging over them, Violet thought. Myrtle had nowhere to go except back to the Girls' Training Institute. Poor Mr. Martin seemed to have nowhere to go but jail. And what about Chloe? Violet wasn't sure if Chloe saw anything after the Tennessee vote at all. Later, she and Myrtle took off their shoes and stockings and waded in a creek at the bottom of the field. The water was pleasantly cool on their feet, and little minnows came up and nibbled on their legs as they stood in the current. Violet told Myrtle about Hobie being caught and sent home to his stepmother. "He'll take off again," said Myrtle. "Probably already has." "Do you ever think about what you're going to do with the rest of your life, Myrtle?" said Violet. "Yes," said Myrtle. "Well, what?" said Violet. "I don't know, but it's going to be important," said Myrtle. They walked farther downstream and tried to catch some frogs. When Violet finally did catch one, she held it for a moment, enjoying the cool feel of its soft, clammy skin in her hands, and then it pushed off with its mighty hind legs and plopped into the water. Violet asked Myrtle if it wasn't time they headed back, and Myrtle said it wasn't, so they walked even further downstream and talked about the things they'd seen and done and heard in Nashville. Violet wanted to know more about where Myrtle and Mr. Martin were staying, but Myrtle was curiously reluctant to talk about it. "It's called Dead Horse Alley," said Myrtle. "We're staying with a lady in her house." "Is it like the alleys in Washington?" said Violet, remembering the tumble-down shacks and heaps of trash and rats. "Sort of different," said Myrtle with a shrug. "Look, there's some kind of animal hole over there." So they went to the bank and looked at a burrow under the roots of a willow tree and tried to decide what might live there. Myrtle was fun to explore with, Violet thought, a lot more fun than the Antis. But the world seemed to have been set up so that Myrtle and Violet would always be on different sides of an invisible line. By Monday, August 16th, nobody could tell which side anybody was on anymore. Nobody knew when the House was going to vote. The Antis and the Suffs were both polling the legislators every few hours, and it seemed like every few hours the list of who was an Anti and who was a Suff had changed. Chloe told Violet at their noon meeting that she didn't think the polls were good at all anymore. They had met at the lunchroom in Union Station because Violet was supposed to have been spending the morning watching the train station telegraph offices for the Antis. She hadn't really been doing this, of course, but she had gone down to the train station for verisimilitude. That means like doing the right thing, the thing you're supposed to do. Violet had been assigned to spend some more time with Harry T. Byrne, but he had gone up to the Capitol. The Suff strategy required that only Tennessee women lobby legislators at the Capitol. Northerners were known to irritate Southerners, and the Suffs didn't want the Tennessee legislators to be irritated. "I don't think we have a chance with Byrne anyway," said Chloe. "He's just enjoying the attention. He's so young." Violet had heard that Byrne was only 24, which was only a year older than Chloe. "He's still wearing a red rose." "Let's go up to the Capitol," said Chloe, when they finished their chicken salad sandwiches. "But we're not supposed to," said Violet. "Oh, we won't lobby anybody," said Chloe. "I just want to see what's going on. Besides, you've never seen inside it, have you? It's nice." All right, I'm going to stop there. Halfway down 201.